Calling all illegal aliens, the city by the Bay wants you. One of America's most liberal cities, that one, now soliciting immigrants who snuck into the U.S. San Francisco, in fact, spending big bucks to promote that it will keep you safe, touting a host of free services being offered to illegals on the taxpayer's dime. This is America's Pulse. Well, if you enter the country illegally, it can be tough, and it is getting tougher in most major cities, but not in San Francisco. It will welcome you with open arms. In fact, it'll give you free city services, free education, free health care, basically anything you need. And the city is shelling out more than $80,000 to make sure that people there illegally know about it. Rob Roth with our Fox affiliate in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Francisco is a sanctuary city.
This is a television public service announcement that will begin running this month in several different languages, reminding illegal immigrants San Francisco is a sanctuary city. There will also be ads on the radio and signs at bus stops.
To let people know what a sanctuary city is all about and to calm people's fears.
Folks in the predominantly Latino Mission District tell us their friends and relatives are fearful that if they talk to police, enroll in school, or even see a doctor, they may be turned over to federal authorities and deported.
Basically, they get sicker and sicker until they reach a point in which they can no longer go on with their lives, and they'll end up in the emergency room. And that's a pretty common story in our communities.
But the city wants to remind folks their immigration status will not be turned over to federal immigration authorities.
We do not cooperate with ICE when they go out for enforcement of immigration violations of the law.
The campaign comes in response to a series of enforcement actions in the Bay Area last year by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, which drove many illegal immigrants deeper into the shadows.
Even nonprofits like our organization, they in general, avoid as much as they can.
A spokeswoman for ICE told us by phone today, quote, "Our responsibility is to enforce all federal immigration laws despite city sanctuary policies, and we will continue to do so."
That was Rob Roth with KTVU in the Bay Area. Well, it seemed like a very nice offer, so we figured we'd help San Francisco spread the word with some free advertising here. Problem is, not everyone is on board with the idea. Roger Hedgecock is conservative radio talk show host. Francisco Hernandez is an immigration attorney in Texas. Now, Mr. Hernandez, you think that this plan in San Francisco is a good one? More people need to know about it. Explain why.
Well, I think it's a great program, but I object to calling it a liberal program. It really is more conservative. First of all, they're going to identify every person who's a resident there who doesn't have citizenship status. The point about it is bring them out of the shadows so we can focus on the people that are the terrorists that mean harm to the country. Second, they pay for those services. We're not talking about free services. Every single one of those folks contribute through their sales taxes, through their property taxes, through their Social Security taxes, and where the employer does pay their payroll taxes, their federal employment tax.
Okay. Just clarification, I didn't say liberal, but go ahead. I think a lot of people would characterize it that way. Now, Mr. Hedgecock, you think the idea is nuts. Why?
Well, I feel for the poor taxpayers of San Francisco, Edie. They're being called upon to fund an unlimited number of services for an unlimited number of people. It's ringing the dinner bell in the third world, and San Francisco just better get ready, because we'd love to ship our San Diego 20% of the prison population and 50% of the welfare population up north to San Francisco and let those taxpayers take care of it.
Now, Mr. Hernandez, what if that is the impact? You know, there are other states where they've now just started changing the laws where they had been very lenient, and they said that was the problem. People started going to their states, flooding their states, and they simply couldn't handle it all. San Francisco is now advertising, "We'll give you everything you need. Come here. And we won't cooperate with the federal government to try to track you down." What happens if they're overrun?
Well, the economy's going to either support it or it's not. The people go, documented or undocumented, go where the jobs are. So if there's jobs there, as long as they're, we're attracting those folks to come over here with the well-paying jobs for their standards. The big problem is that you're not calling out the dinner bell. You're providing your services to the citizens of your city. They're paying for those services. Nobody objects when a foreigner buys a piece of property here and they're not paying any taxes or have any intention of ever residing here. At least these folks are contributing. As far as the prison population, I don't know why you're keeping them in prison. Why don't you just go ahead and deport them instead of keeping them here on your nickel?
Mr. Hedgecock, one of the issues there that we heard was that San Francisco is specifically making a point in these service ads saying, we will not cooperate with the federal government. We will not cooperate with ICE. What kind of message does that send in a society that really is run on the basis of law and order and judgment?
Well, we've come to expect this from San Francisco. It's a thumb in the eye of the United States. They're very anti-American there. Gavin Newsom, the mayor, has proposed this. He's notorious on every topic of not cooperating with the United States as if he wasn't a part of it. But there's an underlying thing I want to address here. The legal immigrants who play by the rules and come to this country to make it a better place, we love them, we welcome them. It's the illegal immigrants that we need to talk about here. They're not, Mr. Hernandez, they're not citizens. They are people who have broken into our country, disrespected our laws, and sure, they're attracted by jobs, by employers who are going to oppress them, by employers who are going to try to make a buck off of them. I understand that. In places like Arizona and Oklahoma, they're saying no mas, no more to these people. We're not going to let employers oppress people in our communities. Those jobs are for Americans.
Well, we'll see what ends up happening in San Francisco, but I appreciate the time of both of you gentlemen. Francisco Hernandez, an immigration attorney joining us from Fort Worth, Texas, and Roger Hedgecock, conservative radio talk show host out in San Diego. Thank you.
Thanks, Edie.
Thank you.
Well, now, I'd like to know what you think. Is this un-American to do this? Is it anti-American, as Mr. Hedgecock said, or is it really the American values? If you are down on your luck, the poor, the huddled masses come and will help you. Is that what San Francisco is doing? Should they open their arms to illegals? Send us an email, americaspulse@foxnews.com. Include your name and town. I know a lot of you will be emailing, and we'll share as many as possible later in the program. Now, the wide open space, the rugged, sandy terrain, it is perfect for off-roaders to let loose, and it is also perfect for smugglers. The Imperial Sand Dunes Recreation Area in California, right on the U.S.-Mexico border. In fact, many off-roaders cross the border all the time. Well, the smugglers aren't dumb, and now they're doing it too. William LaJeunesse is live at the dunes in Imperial County with more. William, out in the middle on an ATV, how'd you get that assignment? Looks good.
Well, Edie, I want to tell you, as you mentioned, we're literally about 2 football fields right now from the Mexican border, right over that ridge right there. There are no fences, there's no barbed wire, there's no walls, there's nothing. Basically marking where the border is. In this sand dune area, it literally straddles the U.S.-Mexican border. As a consequence, you'll get 100,000 people out here on a weekend. Wow. And they'll simply blend in. The drug narcotics guys will look just like this. They'll come over here. Sometimes they're scouts for the drug runners who've got the, cocaine in their backpacks or the pot in their Hummer or their Ford pickup. And these guys will scout. They'll let them know by radio where the Border Patrol is hiding in these sand dunes here, and they'll tell them, and then they'll direct them into some of the soft spots. And that's one of the problems. These guys simply blending in, and it's very hard for the agents to tell who's the good guy and who's the bad.
Well, we see on the screen, we say at least one border agent has been killed in the dunes area by a suspected smuggler. So what can the Border Patrol do about this?
Well, I'm going to give you a lay of the land, Edie. As I said, you come in from Mexico in this area. You filter in with the Americans here. Now, the Border Patrol put up these barriers that you can see, so they can't simply drive their SUVs onto Interstate 8. That highway that you see there stretches from San Diego basically to Phoenix. They used to just drive their loads right on the interstate. They'd be gone.